had a guy at my mother's bar. His name was Arnaldo.
Yeah.
Arnaldo do Campo. A fat little Cuban dude that was a daily bookmaker.
Right.
And every day he'd say, Coco, come here. You pissing sweet yet?
What?
Are you pissing sweet yet? Because in Cuban, the term is mad dulce. Is your piss sweet yet?
Wow.
And I would go, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he would always say, Joey, Coco, you get your dick sucked yet? And I would go, what are you talking? Like, from the time I was 7.
Right. You go to jail for that today.
Bar, oh, yeah, they'll throw you under the fucking jail.
Under the fucking jail.
And he'd say it in front of my mother, Jose Antonio, you get your dick sucked today? Leave me alone. You know, with the whole thing. And I'll never forget when I was like 17 once, I saw him at a bar, right, in Union City. And I'm like, I'm not. I get my hug. And he's telling me, like, he goes, you look good. He goes, you jerking off? Oh. And I'm like, I don't know. You know?
Man.
I'm 17 now. He's at this bar, and he's on a chair. All right, he's talking to me, and there's stools, you know, like Mike's got a stool. They're all on the bar. He's talking to me and my, because Union City right there was where we catch the bus to go into Manhattan.
Right.
So right by Union City is a post office. It's the last stop on that side on Lincoln Tunnel. So I would go to 29th, get a hot dog from the Sabrek guy there, and then take the bus into the city. So I forget the name of that bar. I went in there, and he's in there in the afternoon, you know. And he goes, you jerking off? You look good. He goes, you got to jerk off. He goes, I'm married 30 years. I jerk off every day. And he was sitting in a chair like this. And he goes, I go home at night. I wait for my wife to take a shower. And when she's in there, I start fucking, and he's doing this like he's living. He's going, aye. And he ain't jerking off, but he's going through the noises. He's going, aye.
God.
And he goes, and I switch hands. And then I do a cappuccino. And then when I come, he goes, bah! And he just jumped backwards. The chair went down, and he's like, bah, 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 bah. That's the explosion between his legs. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then when I was 13, I was swapping spit with a girl in my room. And my mother, Cuban mother, would say, Jose Antonio, you gotta leave the fucking door open. You gotta leave the door. And you know, when you're 13, you try to crack it. You try to, but the door is fucking open. There's an inch, open. I want her to blow it. You know, my mom was one of those, huh? So she came home one day with Arnaldo and my stepfather. They were gonna barbecue, and I'm in the bedroom with her. So I go, shut up. We gotta find out what he's doing out there. So Arnaldo goes, I got it. So he gets a ladder. And he puts it at the side of the building. And I hear something. I'm dry humping to the Earth, Wind, and Fire. Fucking, you know, there was no sex.
No,
not even a tit. We were in the 6th grade just dry humping. Yeah. And all of a sudden I hear boom, boom. I'm like, what the fuck? All of a sudden I hear boom. The fucking ladder went down. He broke his leg. They had to take him to the hospital. I go, what the fuck happened? They tried to hide it from me. I was walking up the stairs to see what you were going to fucking do. But it's funny how those are the characters that we talk about in our lives.
Because you can't make those people up.
You can't make this shit up. When I was young, I had the same problem as Lee. I didn't listen. The mafia, what are they going to do to me? I know people. I didn't know nobody. What are they going to do to me, you know? I had already fucked with them a little bit with some jewelry that they wanted, and I robbed, and they tried to make me a deal. And I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you shit. I had robbed this house one time. And it was the weirdest thing. Like, I robbed it, moved the stuff. It was out of my mind. And about a week later, I'm taking a shower, and the people I'm living with go, hey, there's somebody at the door. And I go to the door, and I'm like, hey, man, what's up? And he goes, you don't know me. My name is such and such. I'm a friend of this person. We broke down what happened, and we know you robbed it. And we want the stuff back or the money within 2 days. We're going to send people to come get you. Like, I never heard back from them. Like, never.
Yeah.
Like, I told them, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I lied the whole time, and I denied it. But then I had picked this, I was robbing these drug dealers in the 80s, in the early 80s. And I was just robbing them on a weekly basis. Eventually, somebody was going to shoot me. Yeah. But I had robbed this one guy, and he was after me. Like, even years after I was gone, my friends would say, dog, I saw that dude on the motorcycle at Corky's. Like, he couldn't believe it. And I had friends of his, and that guy that was looking for me is about 80 years old now, and he lives in Key West. And I have friends in Miami that see him, and he still says, if I ever see that motherfucker, tell him I'm going to put a bullet in him. Like, every time I play Miami or Fort Lauderdale, like, for a minute I worry about him. Like, because he was that after me.
Really?
Like, he was that. Like, one day it was about drugs. I didn't pay him his money, and I thought he was going to go away, like everybody else goes away. After a while, they just go away. I didn't go. He didn't go away. This guy didn't stop. Like I thought once the last time I saw him would be the last time I saw him. 2 days later, I'm walking out of a hotel room, and he's chasing me on a motorcycle.
Really?
Yeah, he was 50-something at the time. This guy was a fucking nut. And then
Italian, Cuban?
Cuban. And he chased me into a deli, and the deli owner told him, get the fuck out of here. And then I would hear from friends of mine, that dude was around. That dude was around. That dude was around. And then, this is the craziest thing. Like, I beat him in October of 84. Like, in October of 84 was when that went down. He followed me and looked for me till like January of 85, okay? June of 80, now I disappeared. I moved to Cliffside Park, New Jersey. I moved to Dumont. I'm moving around a lot in those days.
Yeah.
But I settled on Cliffside Park like in February, and I stayed there till June. I knew I was leaving in June. I knew I was leaving. I was getting a settlement from an accident, and I just knew it. I had laid low for a while. I stopped snorting. I didn't go out at night. I didn't go to any of my usual spots. I lived.
Did you have dreams at that time? Like, were you sitting on the couch, going like, "I'm getting this money, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start like." Did you have any insights on like what you wanted?
No. I was 22, and I had no idea what my next move was. I had no idea whatsoever. I was 22, and I 21.
So I think about that sometimes. Like one of the things that impresses me the most about you is that you're calculated in what you want, and you're calculated in how you want to do this business. Like you're the reason I don't do Sundays. You're the reason I don't think anyone does Sundays anymore. Because the way you looked at it was you need to be for your family there Sunday, have Sunday dinner, be there Monday, be there all week as much as you can.
Yeah, but I didn't know this. I didn't figure this out. When I was a feature act and I had no wife, I figured that out.
Really?
Like when I was a feature act making $500 a week, I was like, what am I doing here on a Sunday?
Yeah.
And then when clubs would hire me, I'd go, I can't do that Sunday because I'm shooting a movie. I mean, this went on for a while.
Yeah.
And I battled with Rogan. Before Rogan had his kids, he would always work Sundays. And I go, I'm leaving Sunday.
Yeah.
Joe, you can't do that. I'm leaving Sunday, bro. And then he started getting it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, you're just wasting my time. It's 100 people that don't really want to be here. And when you're not selling tickets, it's even worse.
Yeah.
That's
when they pay for the room.
That's when they pay for the room.
My Cincinnati Sundays were all black.
Yeah. They pay for the room.
Yeah.
And you're dying. And the whole time you're like, why? And they fuck you because you can't even take a red eye out. The show ends right as the cutting point. It's always something. So at least if I can take a red eye out, and as long as I'm back home by Monday morning, I'm good. But that's not the...
That's my thing right now is like, I know I'm not saying I'll never get to the place where I'll be able to take a private jet, but like I don't think I'll ever get to the place where I can rationalize spending that much money to fly private. But I do get to these moments on the road sometimes where I go, oh, if I could get on a plane right now,
yeah,
that's worth a lot of money.
A lot of money. But no, at 22, I had no idea, bro.
Because that's what I wonder. Like you're so
no idea, bro.
Really.
I was looking for a miracle. I was going to bump into a suitcase filled with 20 kilos.
Yeah.
I was going to rob someone.
I was looking for a miracle is a great.
Yeah.
That's Joey. That's so many people. So many people, including myself. When I was in college, I was looking for a miracle.
Well,
I was like, I could an inheritance that I didn't know about.
Something.
German bonds.
Something. It was like something's going to happen. Last night I was talking to somebody how flying is different now.
Yeah.
Flying is so bad now because people don't go on planes to get fucking hammered no more. 20 years ago, a plane was comprised of people walking around, talking, drinking, buying that guy a drink, buying that guy a drink. And I'll never forget, I was coming to Colorado. I was getting to the story that I had last heard from my friends that he was looking for me in January of 85.
Yeah.
And I still talk to my friends. They never brought him up again. And I was leaving on a Sunday from Newark at 4 o'clock. Everything in my life was going great. It was Saturday night. I had the cash in my pocket from the settlement. I bought some clothes. I squared with all my friends and then some. Like if I owed you $800, I gave you the 8, and I took you out and I used a stolen credit card and I got your suits, jewelry. I took care of all my friends before I left. Anybody who brought me food in hotel rooms, anybody who gave me $20, when I took those credit cards, I took care of all of them. I had a girl that worked at Joan and David, Shoes by Ann Taylor. Joan and David. She was a general manager, and she would read the cards for me and let me know how much was on them.
Yeah.
So she would let me know. So her deal was, you use the cards, you buy me a pair of fucking $600 shoes.
Yeah.
So I would go in there, buy a pair of shoes. She'd tell me what was left on the card in those days, and I'd fucking rape and pillage her mall.
Yeah.
She was like the Willowbrook Mall in New Jersey. So that night I get together with my friends, no snorting, and I go to this bar in Union City, New Jersey.
I've been to Union City.
Rule number 1, don't go back to where the war was. I went right back into the heart of it. I'm at this place, 7 minutes, and my cousin walks in, who I grew up with. And he's a cop now. And I go up to him and give him a hug, and he's very he goes, hey, man, a lot of people are looking for you. He was in somebody's pocket at the time. He was helping these Cubans, and one of them was looking for me. And I'm like, what are you saying? We're cousins. You sold me out? Well, you can't be doing that. Who gives a fuck what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying? So that was strike number 1. Like, I knew something was... I just started talking to that guy 2 years ago. He even came out here and apologized to me.
Your cousin?
Yeah, he got thrown off the police force. The guy died that he was working for that was looking for me. And he came out here, and now I talk to him. He's a big-time jiu-jitsu guy.
Oh, really?
So now I talk to him, but for a long time, I wouldn't talk to him.
Yeah.
And I told him one time, I go, that day... Yeah, and he apologized. He explained to me what was going on. Not 2 minutes after that, this girl from high school comes up to me, and she goes, how you doing? Real hot girl. Her kids come to my shows now. She's dead. One of the hottest women you've ever seen in your life. Big fucking tits, real. I never slept with her. We were just drug buddies.
Yeah.
She used to get me into Studio 54 and Xenons when I was 21, because she was so good looking. And she came up to me. She goes, can we have a word? And she goes, listen, did you rob that house? And I was trying to deny it. I'm like, no. And she goes, they know it's you. And they've been looking for you. They know it's you. The cops are involved, but I think they got the cops for the insurance. They're looking for you. And I go, okay. And she goes, if I was you, I'd go home because this bartender's friends with them.
Oh, shit.
So, I mean, I gave the bartender...
That's something I would have never thought of.
Oh, my God. I gave the bartender a tip, got in the car, and I couldn't stop shaking. Like this girl, because the robbery she was talking about was supposed to be like nobody knew who it was.
Yeah.
They thought it was me, but they really couldn't pinpoint where I was. It was me. And there was a lot of jewelry and a lot of blow, and these people were looking for me. They had called the cops and told them they didn't know who it was, but they knew. So I got in the car, left. I said, it's over. Really doesn't matter because I'm going to sleep this off. I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm packed, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm getting ready to leave. I got the 4 o'clock flight. I wake up, eat breakfast, talk to my roommate. He's going somewhere on a Sunday, so I got to take a bus to North Bergen, Kennedy Boulevard, and then take another bus to Jersey City where my friends is going to take me for a fucking to the airport.
Yeah.
I take the first bus. I get off at White Castle. I'm sitting there. I got my luggage. I got 18 grand in my pocket. I got another check for like 10 grand from the bank. And I hear a motorcycle. But it's one of those, the Japanese one.
Those four-stroke deals?
Where the guy's hunched over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I go, Gabby is too old to be hunched. I didn't even, no, I can't lie to you. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
I just heard this motorcycle, looked up, and I looked back. I didn't even think about it. And all of a sudden I hear, and all of a sudden the bike is getting closer to me, and it's the guy. And he flips open his thing and he goes, you never brought me that fucking cash. He goes, I was just going for a Sunday ride. He goes, I always carry a gun. I went for a Sunday ride. I didn't carry my gun or you would have been dead right now. He goes, the next time I see you, I'm going to shoot at you, motherfucker. And he put his lens and took off. I got on that fucking bus trembling. I didn't have a weapon on me at the time.
Yeah.
I was scared shit that he was going to follow the bike. I got to my friend's house. I told him what had happened. We got in the car. He dropped me off in Newark. I was headed to Colorado Springs. But
Why Colorado Springs?
Because a bunch of people told me, go to Colorado Springs. I hated Boulder. I had already been to Boulder. There was a bunch of hippies and shit. And it just wasn't for Uncle Joey at the time. I was too uptight and shit.
I can't imagine you in Boulder.
I tell a joke that's not really a joke. It's the truth. One of my scams, I used to be a nerd. Like, I was so insecure as a child. So I played with models. My whole life was spent with models.
Model like
Cars,
okay.
Spider-Man.
Original though, gluing them, not snapping them.
Yeah, gluing them. Fucking.
Before they realized kids were getting high on glue.
Before people were getting high with glue. So I'm a young kid, and underneath on 148th Street was a hobby shop, for stamp collectors, and coins and shit. And he had he sold glue and models. He had like a little area where, we would break his balls. I don't know what his name was. When are you getting Silver Surfer? When are you getting the Fantastic Four? And we put ships together. There was this other nerdy kid, and then we became a model team and shit. But when I go to fucking get models or model glue, like when I first got up to 148th Street, there was always this guy in front of the place, like twitching, And he would go, "Psst, kid, come here. Go in there, buy me some glue."
Really?
Yeah, like he would go buy me a tube of glue. The fucking owner's a scumbag. He won't let me go in there.
But he's got the good glue.
I'm a fucking nice kid. I'm trying to be liked. I'm trying to be accepted.
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it was like a quarter for a glue. So this is like every other fucking day, every time. Because we would just go in there and look at models like as kids and go, that's the next model.
Right.
I got to get 895.
And was it in a tube, like looked like A&D ointment?
Yeah, it looked like that, like
where you pop
antibiotic,
the top. Yes,
like
exactly.
you rub on your fucking pimples.
Exactly what I
shit.
remember. But so wait, you would get this guy a tube, and then he'd be back the next day?
And like 2 days later, we'd
so
see
he's
him again,
taking that whole tube,
all fucked
obviously.
up. And his name was Charlie. We became friends after about 3 weeks. But when I started hanging out with the other not Spanish kids, every nationality kid, they would go, "Fuck you, Charlie." They would pick on him. And I'm going to go, "What are you picking on Charlie for? Charlie's a nice guy. He don't bother nobody. He builds models just like me." And they're like, "Fuck."
I bet you he don't have one model built.
So, dog, this is how fucking stupid I was. I'm like sticking up for Charlie. Right? I'm sticking up for Charlie. Charlie's a good guy. And every day Charlie's twitching. And then, so finally, the owner of the place would go, "Don't get that guy glue no more." He came to me. He's like, "Don't buy that fucking guy glue no more." And I'm like, "Why not?" He goes, "Because that fucking guy snorts glue." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" I knew people smoked pot. I had seen my mother do bumps of coke and her friends. People drank. I wasn't hip to pills. I didn't know anything about pills.
Isn't it crazy when you find out there's a different way to
get high?
Yeah, and you'd already seen so much. Like, I didn't see him. I had seen when I was under 10.
So I'm like, glue. What?
Right, glue.
So I didn't believe it. So this went on for about 3 more weeks. And then one day I'm like, wait a second. Why am I, all these kids were hustlers. This was a big move for me because I already knew how to work people for money. Like at the bar, but let me finish the Charlie story. So one day I look at Charlie and I'm like, wait a second. What if I bought glue and just sold it to him? Like for 10 cents. Like 10 cents was a big profit.
The entrepreneur took over, yeah.
In 1969, 10 cents was 50 cents,
Right.
You could buy fucking 2 packs of gum or whatever. So I don't even know. It was like, I just knew I marked it up. So through the fucking grapevine, you hear more stories about him. I found out he was a Vietnam vet. He had been hurt over in Vietnam. He got hit with a missile in the head or something like that. And they sent him back because he was a little fucked up. His head was a little fucked up. And I would look at him from time to time, and I'm like, this guy don't look right, but he's a nice guy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God,
so
you killed me.
I went to my mother one day, and I go, "Ma, I got like this big..." I don't even know if I went to my mother for that one. I just had the money. So I asked the fucking guy in the glue store, I go, "How much for all the glue?" And he goes, "Well, I'll sell you all the glue for whatever, $8 or something." I gave him the $8. And I just had glue in my pocket. And every time I'd see Charlie, I'd sell him glue. Now, I knew he snorted glue, but I didn't know nothing. About
5 months later, one of my jobs when I stayed with my godmother was to help her take the garbage out for the buildings. She owned 3 buildings, so on a couple nights a week, I would have to pull the garbage out from this basement area, and the rats would scatter. I mean, it was fucking mind-boggling. And it was a little, maybe 6 feet wide and maybe like 15 feet. It was like a little bomb shelter, but it had a door where the tenants went in, opened up the garbage can and put their garbage in, and I would have to pull out the garbage cans. One night, it's got to be, 8 o'clock, and my godmother's husband's name was Raul. Me and Raul would stay up at night and watch fucking TV and The Saint, cool shit. And I went to the garbage cans, and as I'm pulling it, there's Sticky Charlie. There's Charlie sitting there with a bag just going, and he saw me, and I'm like, Charlie, what the fuck are you doing? And he got up, and when he went to fling the fucking bag, he had glue on his hand, so the bag stuck to his hand. So he's trying to get rid of the bag, and I'm like, Charlie, what the fuck are you doing in the hallway? I'm like a little kid.
Right.
And I'm like, you motherfucker, you don't build no fucking models. Like, I believed him.
Yeah, right.
Like, I fought for you for fucking months. I'm at home thinking you're building models, and this is what you do to me, you dirty motherfucker. So from that time on, he was Sticky Charlie, right? So he would get a check. I broke it down. The reason why I wouldn't see him, he'd have lapses, because Sticky Charlie got a check in the beginning of the month, like on the 5th from the government for being a half a tart. And then he would get glue, and he lived in his mother's basement. That place where he lived, magically, years later became like a fucking popular street for marijuana. 148th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam. In the fucking late 70s, they had 2 types of weed on that block. It was called Sense or Thai, Buddha Thai weed.
I've had that Thai.
And then they would mix it, and it would be called the Magic Mix.
Oh, I've had that.
And then they would give you a card with a punch card. And every time you'd come, they punched the fucking card. So this is later on. I didn't smoke dope when I was a kid. I didn't know nothing about that, nothing. But that block, so we would walk towards that block if we were going to walk to like a park or something. And one day, some kids were like, that's Sticky Charlie's house. So Sticky Charlie lived in his mother's house, but there was like a basement, and Sticky Charlie lived down there. So what they would tell me is when Sticky Charlie would get this check from the government, he would get like 10 tubes of glue. He would stock up on glue and go over to the house, and there wasn't crack hose then. There were glue hose. He had a couple glue hose, and he would be down there listening to like black music, snorting glue with the hose. It was crazy. And then when the money would finish, the glue hose would disappear, right? So he'd be walking around all fucking lonely, like. So we called him Sticky Charlie for years.
That's great.
I had to think hard about this. I've had like 3 creepy nights, and all of them were in the Coach and Horses.
Oh, yeah.
All of them, I had to go through the Coach and Horses.
Yeah.
Guys, the Coach and Horses was a real old school bar with L.A. people in it.
I had a couple of creepy ones.
Yeah, that was a creepy place.
Oh, dude, I had one. Yeah.
But one night I was in there, jawing out of my mind.
Yeah.
I got some Coke and Silver Lake by that Cuban bakery up there. Listen to me, I was going to an audition and I got lost.
Yeah.
And I go down this block and I hear gunshots.
Yeah, and you're like, oh.
You can't write this fucking shit. This could only happen to Uncle Joey.
Yeah.
And I pull over and I look up and the cop's got a shotgun and the guy's on the fucking floor and people are running and the guy's got a gun. And so I'm sitting there watching this shit. And all of a sudden I go to cut over and I hear boom and my tire goes out. I'm like, what the fuck? It's 3:35. I just got up here. I got out of traffic. I got a little lost. And the helicopters are flying around me. My flat tire goes off. What am I gonna do? I didn't even have a fucking cell phone in those days. I pulled over, and I went up to whatever Sunset is, and I called Marilyn Martinez. And Marilyn Martinez lived in Silver Lake at the time when it was broken down. This is 98 when this shit was going down. 99. You were here. 98, 99. Yeah, 98 you were here, or 97. It was my first year here.
I was coming out here and there. I didn't live here, though.
97. Okay,
yeah.
so I go to the husband comes over. We take the tire. We go to that neighborhood. They got those tire things on the hill up.
Yeah.
On Sunset, if you keep going up in Silver Lake, they got those $5. They got a tire for you. How much you got? $4. Hold on.
Yeah.
Guy comes back with a tire. He puts crazy glue on the hole. So I put one of those tires on, and all of a sudden I started talking to Dave, was the guy's name, and he goes, "You know, my brother-in-law's Cuban. He just got out of doing 11 years for distribution." I said, "No shit." He goes, "You want to meet him?" I go, "Yeah, let's go over there and talk to him." I go over there. He's got these saints. They just killed a chicken. They're dressed in white. My type of fucking Cubans. I start talking. 3 minutes in, the guy right off the bat goes, "Get un pase." As soon as they say "get un pase," you're in. That means you want to bump.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He comes out, takes a rock out of a suitcase. Brah! I do a line, dog. It's 3:30. By this time, it's 4:30. I do a line. I'm electrified.
Yeah.
Now, my number one rule was no coke before I went on stage.
Right. What's the
No,
middle of the day?
Not even in the middle of the day, because that fumes were getting to my stand-up. I just had this rule. I didn't care. When I saw that rock that he took out, shiny, it was like that old China white pearl. This is 97. This guy just got out of jail.
How great is it to listen to old drug fiends talk about drugs?
So,
And the craziest thing is, I've been with him for 5 years. This is the furthest from what I've seen, so that's why it's so crazy to me, because it's like it's unbelievable.
So we start talking. One thing leads to another. He goes, "Yeah, call me anytime you need something." He goes, "Do you want to take some now?" I go, "I don't have no money." He goes, "Nobody comes to my house and leaves short-handed." He goes back in this doctor's bag. He takes out 3/4 of a G-Bo. Who's better than me? I'm happy as fuck.
Yeah.
But there's only one problem, and I gotta look you in the eye and tell you this. I am so fucked up on that little line I did. I can't leave. Like, I was electrified. Like, it was 1980s coke. My hairs were sticking up. My pupils are dilated. And all I could taste is a Budweiser in a can.
Yeah.
And I get in the car and I'm out there jawing my brains out. I had to hide the fucking coke in the spare tire under the fucking thing. And all I had to do was get to... At that time, God knows where the fuck I lived. I lived somewhere in Hollywood. All I had to do was get home. I get home, guess what? I put away the package like a gentleman. I got like in those days, Mitzi used to lurk.
Yeah.
You know, you cancel on Mitzi in those days. It was 2 weeks without a spot.
I haven't got a spot anymore.
I gave you a spot. So it was like a Tuesday night. I do the spot. It's black night.
Yeah.
And I go down there, and all of a sudden, I do 2 bumps of this shit. Let me tell you something. I'm the laziest fuck in the world. I walk from the store directly to Coach and Horses. There's a liquor store.
After the store, you go to Coach and Horses.
I mean, there's a liquor store.
Yeah.
But let me tell you how much I drank. Like, when I used to do, I don't drink.
Yeah.
I don't like it. But in those days, once I did the 3rd line, it was over.
Yeah.
Well, you see these guys, I'll drink anybody under the table. You're not going to fuck with Joey Diaz.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
And I remember walking from the store, and the first liquor store I stopped was by the Chateau Marmont. And then I drank a fucking Budweiser like a savage, New York style.
Refreshing.
The big can.
Yeah.
Cold.
Yeah.
And I was jawing, and the coke is in my throat. And it was that sweet Chinese. And I could taste it. And I walked all the way up to another liquor store. It was past Fairfax, next to the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
Where the Blockbuster Video used to be.
Yeah.
I got another can of beer there. Boom. I'm fucked up. I'm going in the bushes. I'm taking powder. I'm doing it in my nose. Meanwhile,
So is anything going, like, what's happening? Because
I'm
like
fucked
an up or a
up.
downer.
It's an upper, downer, all arounder. You understand me?
He's sweating and he's looking
I'm
around walking
sweating.
on Sunset.
On Sunset. It's 11:15. I'm headed to the Coach and Horses.
Oh, that place.
I walk in the Coach and Horses. It's you, Schubert, Dave Fulton.
We were there?
Everybody. Like 10 comics were there. And everybody was fucking doing blasts. I remember going in that bathroom, and the bathroom was small. And
Dave Fulton.
Remember Dave Fulton?
Yeah, he's in England or something.
I'm putting water in my nose, and I was parked on Josh Wolf's block. That's where I lived, in the car part-time and in his house part-time. And I was parked over there, and I got I saw you guys. I said 2 or 3 words to you guys. I couldn't talk. Yeah. That cocaine high, when you can't talk. That's how good the blow was.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't talk, and I still had a fucking 4/10 of a G-Bo left. I'm on fire. I gotta go somewhere and jerk off.
Yeah.
What's a G-Bo?
Gram.
Okay.
So I got 4/10 of a gram.
In Joey speak.
And I got to bang one out.
Yeah. You gotta get down. You gotta come down with focus.
I fucking crossed the street and there's a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
On Curson.
Yeah.
I bought a can of beer and I ran to that fucking car.
Yeah.
I put the air on. I put the seat back and I banged 2 good ones out. It took me an hour and a half of sweating and put the coke on my dick and fucking.
You felt better though.
Oh my God! I came and then the paranoia went away. The initial paranoia.
You want to go back to the bar?
And I went back to coaching horses. And you guys were leaving with broads. There were broads, and you guys were going to somebody's house. And I was too coked out to even have a conversation. But I knew that going in.
Yeah, that bar was evil.
That bar was evil, and I wasn't gonna. You ever get those guys that are annoying, and then they show up, and now they can't talk, and they're drinking. I didn't want to be that guy. That was my guy.
Well, there was always like a contingent of like relatively healthy kind of young people, and then there was always these old fucking druggies there. Like it was,
just who jerks off?
Yeah, I was gonna say
on a car around the corner from El Compadre.
Twice.
And one time I jerked off on like a clean shirt.
Yeah.
And the other time like a pillowcase. I mean, it was just
it was a way to get down, you know what I mean? If you didn't have nothing to get you down, it was a way just to fucking get level.
Oh my God. I just remember that was one of the first times I saw you like rocking. And nobody was talking. Nobody. Everybody was at the bar, elbows up, looking straight ahead.
Yeah, I used to go there occasionally when I was in town doing that shit. Yeah. Jimmy was always kind of like, he'd go right to like, what's going on? You hear something? Like, it was never, there'd be a line out, he'd do it, and then it's like, check the closets. There was no good time in between, the line and, checking the closets. You know what I mean?